Good evening. Welcome to the National News Broadcast. I'm Kasani Badachandra.
Good evening, I'm Clifford Richards. First of all, we take a look at the headlines.
Another 410 fully recover from COVID-19. The total number exceeds 16,200. The Indian government requests the Prime Minister to take the lead in compiling strategies to uplift the economy in South Asia. The President calls on the new Mahanayaka of the Ramanya Mahanikaya. Former IGP Pujit Jasundara informs the Presidential Commission that the former President was not in good terms with him. The Education Minister says Batiklo Private University will be used for the fiscal resources needed by the university students. Vada Samaga Yaligamata program commences.
And now moving on to the stories in detail. The Indian government has requested Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa to take the lead in the process to prepare strategies to uplift the economy of South Asia. The request was made during a meeting with Indian National Defence Advisor Shri Ajit Doval. Mr. Ajit Doval arrived in the country this morning to take part in a tri-party two-day conference on Indian Ocean Defence Cooperation. Army Commander Lieutenant General Shavindra Silva and Indian High Commissioner in Sri Lanka Gopal Bagle welcomed the National Defence Advisor and the Indian delegation. The Indian National Defence Advisor Ajit Doval and the delegation held discussions with Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa at his official residence in Colombo. A congratulatory message of Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi was conveyed to the Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa and Minister Namal Rajapaksa on the occasion. It was pointed out at the meeting that the South Asian countries are also facing similar problems faced by many countries due to the COVID pandemic. Attention was paid on maintaining economic and social development in the region in the wake of the pandemic. Mr. Ajit Doval informed the Prime Minister that India has lost a large amount of foreign exchange since it has to bring down a large number of migrant workers like Sri Lanka. He said that discussions should be held with other countries in the region to strengthen the economy and find strategies to strengthen the development process. Mr. Doval requested the Prime Minister to take the lead in creating a dialogue in this regard. He said that the Indian government will give its full support to the efforts. The Prime Minister pointed out that the housing schemes have been launched in the north, east and also the upcountry with Indian assistance. He requested the support to launch such housing schemes in the south. Mr. Doval said that the Indian government will give its full support in that regard. It was agreed to use technology used for drinking water projects in India under the guidance of Narendra Modi to launch irrigation schemes in Sri Lanka. Mr. Ajit Doval instructed the Indian High Commission in Sri Lanka, Gopal Bagle, to take necessary measures to launch discussions about the matter with high-ranking officials. Prime Minister Secretary Gamini Senarath also took part in these discussions. Defence Minister of the Maldives, Maria Ahmed Didi, arrived in the country today to take part in the Defence Summit. The two-day summit is scheduled to begin tomorrow.
President Gotabaya Rajapaksa called over on the newly appointed Chief Prelate of the Sri Lanka Ramanya Mahanikaya, Most Venerable Makulave Vimalanayaka Thera. The President, who visited today the Vidyavasa Pirivena in Miniolu, Mirigama, where the Nayakathera resides, extended his best wishes to the newly appointed Prelate. Appreciating the unparalleled service rendered by the Ramanya Mahanikaya for the Sambuddha Sasana and to the nation, President Rajapaksa said that he and the government would extend their fullest support to continue the services. The President also wished the prelate good health and long life and signed the guestbook with a special note. The Nayakathera chanted Setpirit and invoked blessings on the President. The Anunayaka of the Sri Lanka Ramanya Mahanikaya, Venerable Nathagamue Vijay Maitri Thera, several other members of the Mahasangha and MP Kokila Gunawardhana were present on the occasion.
We're now moving on to local update of COVID-19. The percentage of the persons who recovered from COVID-19 has increased to 72.83, and it includes 16,222 individuals. 410 left hospitals after recovering from the virus. 16 persons who recovered at the COVID-19 treatment centers at Polonnaruwa, Velikanda and Punani left today. 11,462 patients have completely recovered and left hospitals from the commencement of this month up to date. Most of them left on the 5th of this month. 410 have left today. 72.83% have recovered from COVID-19, 26.73 are undergoing treatment, which includes 5,954 persons. Another 251 infected COVID-19 patients were found today. They were all contacts of the Paliguda COVID cluster. 12,105 PCR tests were conducted yesterday. 789,715 tests have been conducted so far. Meanwhile, 3 deaths due to the virus were reported yesterday. They are residents of Colombo 8, Bambalapitiya and Paliguda areas. The people arriving in Nuwara district from the corona risk areas through Nuwara Kandy main road are being subject to PCR tests from the 24th of this month at Kotmale Elgoda Junction. Acting Director Dr. Iresha Fernando said that 2 nursing officers of the throat and nose unit of the Kandy General Hospital have been infected with COVID-19. She said that the contacts of them have been sent for self-quarantine. The hospital authorities requested the people to arrive at the hospitals only for essential services. Meanwhile, a group of Sri Lankans in Australia, Japan, Dubai, Doha and Oman arrived in the country. The group, consisting of 607, was subjected to PCR tests at the airport. The Postal Department has taken steps to operate all sections of the Central Mail Exchange with full capacity while following health guidelines. It has requested staff members to except residing in isolated areas to report for duty. The Postal Department has informed the employees to report for duty according to the advice of the Assistant Superintendent. Distribution of medicine needed for clinics in Kurunegala area that has been sent for the District Secretariat recommenced today. Distribution of medicine at all 30 divisional secretariat zones is underway. The government of Switzerland and International Organization for Migrants have supported Sri Lanka to bring down Sri Lankan workers in foreign countries. Accordingly, a modern automated RT-PCR machine and 39,000 PCR kits have been provided to increase the PCR tests at the Bandaranaike International Airport when Sri Lankan workers arrive in the country. Switzerland Ambassador in Sri Lanka Dominic Ferglers and head of the operations of International Organization on Migrants Sarah Dash handed over the kits to Health Minister Pavitra Banyarach today at the ministry. The public market of Yatiyantotta, which was temporarily closed, was reopened yesterday. Meanwhile, Minister Douglas Devananda has instructed the relevant officials to reopen Paliguda Fish Market Complex as soon as possible according to health regulations. He has given the instructions following a discussion conducted online with committee members on the trade complex and officials. A musical program has been organized for mental well-being of COVID-19 treatment centers at isolated areas. A musical show was held for the resident patients at the Pinnavala COVID-19 treatment center.
Acting Director General of Public Health Services Dr. Hemant Herath says that several clusters of COVID-19 cases detected in Colombo municipality and other isolated parts in the country have been identified and controlled to avert the further spread of the outbreak. He made these remarks during a media briefing held in Colombo today.
Are the main areas where large numbers are coming, but in certain places in Colombo there are special enclosed clusters in workplaces, different places. I do not want to mention the names. Construction sites, factories have been identified, harbor increasing number of cases, and these are the ones that contribute to this high number of cases reported from the Colombo municipality area. Kalmune, again, not Kalmune, but Kalmune, yes, in Akkarepattu, there's a market. And that area we have found, that's another places where a large number of people are gathering. And also in Saindamarandu area, number of cases have been reported. But all these places are totally under control because it's not something going beyond the capacity of the health workers to control it.
The Government Medical Officers Association says the COVID-19 mapping in Sri Lanka will be completed by next Monday. GMOA editor Dr. Haritha Aluthage said the move will be a key step in the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic.
We have now come to the final stages of mapping, and therefore we hope that the final touches of this all island map will be finished within the weekend, and we will be able to see the map of the COVID patients by next Monday. Therefore we can take decisions accordingly, especially for the head of the institutions, principals of the schools, and even for the ordinary citizens of this country. This mapping is very important. When we go out of our homes, we have a basic vision or the basic idea regarding the risk of our area. On the other hand, to assess the risk, we continuously have pointed out doing the PCR as a random sample surveys to a maximum possible limit is very important. At the moment, our limit is around 12,000. We hope that this limit should be increased much more, so that the random sample surveys could be continued in every part of the country, so that the big clusters which suddenly emerges will be restricted in every part of the country.
Mr. Chandana Wickramaratne assumed duties as the 35th Inspector General of Police. A ceremony had been organized at the police headquarters in this connection. The police headquarters said that the ceremony was held with the participation of less than 20 officers due to quarantine regulations. Mr. Chandana Wickramaratne joined the police department in 1986 as an assistant superintendent and as an intelligence officer. He's an old boy of Ananda College, Colombo, and a science graduate from the Colombo University. He's also an MSc graduate from the Kotalawala Defence University. Mr. Wickramaratne will lead from today the Sri Lanka Police with nearly 90,000 officers. He worked as the acting IGP from the 28th of April last year until yesterday. The new IGP, Chandana Wickramaratne, met President Gotabaya Rajapaksa this afternoon at the Presidential Secretariat. The President extended his greetings to the new IGP. The President was presented with a memento by the IGP.
The Sri Lanka Embassy in Ethiopia, in consultation with the Foreign Ministry of Sri Lanka and the United Nations in Ethiopia, has successfully facilitated the evacuation of 38 Sri Lankan nationals from the war zone Tigray region in the northern part of Ethiopia. The Sri Lankan nationals, along with foreign nationals belonging to a number of countries, were evacuated by United Nations convoys from Tigray to the Afar region of Ethiopia and have been transported to the capital Addis Ababa. The Sri Lankan nationals, all employed in the garment industry in Ethiopia, are due to be repatriated to Sri Lanka at the earliest. The government of Ethiopia commenced military operations in the Tigray region on November 4, 2020, after regional forces belonging to the Tigray People's Liberation Front attacked a federal army base. Hundreds of people have reportedly been killed and thousands have been forced from their homes as Ethiopian forces have seized various towns in Tigray from the TPLF. The United Nations has also expressed concerns over the lack of access to the region for humanitarian workers.
Former IGP Pujit Jasundara told the Presidential Commission yesterday that he was not even able to attend the wedding of his son after being arbitrarily remanded. And he said that he told the Commission that although he asked responsible officials 3 times for permission, considering it as a humanitarian act, no one gave him the opportunity to attend the wedding of his son. Former IGP Pujit Jasundara appeared before the Presidential Commission to inquire into Easter Sunday attacks yesterday. When the Commission asked whether he had a cordial relationship with the former President Maithripala Sirisena, he said that although externally it was so, the former President was not in good terms with him. The former IGP said that he came to know when giving evidence at the Commission that the then DIG, who was in charge of CID, Ravi Senviratne, had been called to the Security Council only once. He also asked how can it be considered as an intelligence information if a person informs 20th April that he saw Zahran at Akkarepattu on the 29th of March. The former IGP further said that although former President Maithripala Sirisena said that Malalgoda Committee report would be published, he did not do so. He further said that he requested it under the Information Act, but he did not get it. He added that he received a letter of sending him on compulsory leave under the signature of former president on the 29th of April after he was asked to resign, accepting the responsibility of the attacks. At the end of giving evidence, former IGP Pujit Jayasundara requested permission to reveal special information. He said that it was a large-scale conspiracy and a program targeted at a selected group of people. He said that there is a common information and it knows that found later and undisclosed. The former IGP gave a confidential statement for about 40 minutes without media after 9:40 p.m.
Minister of Education Professor G.L. Peavis says that the Batticaloa Private University will be used for the physical resources needed by the students enrolled at state universities. The Education Minister mentioned this as a reply to a question raised in Parliament today by MP Kavinda Jayawardena. The expenditure accounts of Fisheries, Plantation and Land Ministries were debated in Parliament today. Parliamentarian Kavinda Jayawardena said that as the opposition that was there before the presidential election, they said that the Sharia University will be taken over by the government. Minister of Education Professor G.L. Peavis said that it will not be kept as a private university under the present Administrative Council. He said that the resources will be used for the benefit of students enrolled at other universities. He further said that the Good Governance government allowed anyone to come and teach any course.
Veda Samaga Yali Gamata program has recommenced to take development proposals of the budget in a more productive manner to the villagers. This was revealed during a discussion in Colombo today between the head of the Presidential Task Force for Economic Revival and Poverty Alleviation, Basil Rajapaksa, and the cabinet ministers and state ministers. Well, during this discussion, it was revealed that under the Veda Samaga Yali Gamata program, the provincial level series of meetings of the budget will be commenced on the 14th of next month from the southern province. Mr. Basil Rajapaksa said that at the budget 2021 was not a budget of a single person, but a budget which had taken correct decisions on the country's development following lengthy discussions with state and private sector as well as with community organizations. The development proposals should be taken to the people in the villages. Mr. Rajapaksa said that the budget is a true people's budget presented in 70 years after obtaining the views of the public. There's a need to complete a streamlined method, document it and socialize a program about the needs of the villages to ministries after presenting it at regional level with the approval of Regional Development Committee. Mr. Rajapaksa instructed officials to perform the duty without delay to submit it to the Presidential Task Force between 14th and 19th December. He pointed out that some politicians expected the economy of the country to collapse with the COVID-19 pandemic. He said that the next year would decide the direction of the economy. Priority will be given for the ministries connected to the manufacturing process. State ministries are working at villages under 4 divisions. The people should pay their attention to the budget first of the government, which was been an approval of the public representatives. Mr. Rajapaksa said that major attack has been launched over social media. He emphasized that the wrong image showed to the public should be changed. The need to brief the public about the new proposals in the budget was emphasized. Special attention should be paid on foreign loans and aid. Due to the large loans taken by the previous government, Sri Lanka has ranked low according to the data. Mr. Rajapaksa said that the budget expects to attract foreign direct investments to the country. He pointed out that the government is politically stable. It is expected to develop the tourism industry by next year after discussions with the health ministry about foreign tourists as well. He further said that the steps will be taken to obtain investments through foreign travel sector.
Chairman of the Sri Lanka Transport Board, Kinsley Ranawaka, says that the SLTB and private buses will be operated as usual from Monday. He said that the buses will run according to health guidelines. Chairman of the Sri Lanka Transport Board, Kinsley Ranawaka, said that officials of the Road Passenger Transport Authority, private bus associations and the SLTP decided to operate buses as usual from Monday. He said that buses will operate in the country except in lockdown areas. General Secretary of the All Ceylon Private Bus Owners Association, Anjana Priyanjit, said that he requested the employees to operate buses while following health guidelines issued by health authorities.
A discussion took place to look into the progress of the National Agriculture Programme to make the country self-sufficient in 16 crops within 3 years. The discussion took place under the patronage of Minister Mahindananda Alutgamage. The minister instructed the officials to visit farmlands and to look into practical problems of farmers without limiting themselves to plans and documents. He said that the government has paid its attention on providing concessions for maize, potato, chili and red onion as well as big onion. The minister pointed out that targets can be achieved by finding solutions of farmers. Agreements were signed today between Ocean Environment Protection Authority and private organizations to deploy persons to maintain coasts without garbage. It took place under the patronage of State Minister Dr. Nalaka Godahewa at Surupaya in Battaramulla. The program has commenced on the 16th of September 2018 on the Gol Dadalla beach to coincide with International Coast Cleaning Day. The modernized Dankotua Etiavala Bricks and Cement Products and Wood Workshops new showroom of the State Engineering Corporation was opened yesterday. Bricks, prefabricated products and wood products can be purchased at the concessionary prices from this showroom. A group of people including State Minister Indika Anuruddha were present on this occasion. 75 byroads in Mathura Pradesh Sabha and Mathura Municipal Council areas in the last stages of development. 52 million rupees are being spent on the projects. Another 174 development projects are in the process at present in 66 Grama Niladhari divisions of the Mathura district. Because it's time to end the news. Do enjoy the rest of the programs. Take care and good night.
Good night.